Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you. Another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks. Sampler video series videos I've been doing for a little while now. Go over there to try out food and drink items. I eat stuff and drink stuff, then, folks, I'm going to talk about stuff. I'm going to let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff. That time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not going to lie, I just had a delicious lunch, and hopefully we're going to carry on that trend. But we'll get to that. Folks, it's a super simple format. I'm going to go over there, I'm going to try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm going to yammer on about it for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I am inside my truck, and whilst I'm doing all that, I'm wearing a super cool shirt. Folks, when I wear a super cool shirt, I always like to highlight the super cool shirt. But what super cool shirt am I wearing for you today? Happens to be my Space of Variation shirt. Well, with the space mushrooms and such. I like this shirt. It's a cool design. But what's Space of Variations? Space of Variations are sort of an electronic metal band out of the Ukraine, who I became familiar with like a couple years ago at this point. They were doing a U.S. tour with another Ukrainian band called Ginger, who are one of my favorite bands, so that was a really cool team up. And I never actually heard of these folks before then, but they blew me away. Like, they had a really awesome performance. They really connected with the crowd. And, of course, they have, very sort of heartfelt story because of the whole situation with the Ukraine right now. I typically don't really get political on the sampler platter, but, one thing I will absolutely stand by is that, I stand with the Ukraine. Like, I think what's happening over there is absolutely terrible, and it just is what it is. So, not trying to go over there and soapbox or anything, but it was just a very cool moment to have that connection with the lead singer and, for him to go over there and kind of plead his plight a little bit. So, but I did actually like their stuff so much that I actually went over there and got some videos of their performance that I attended. Those videos are on the channel, just in case maybe you want to check them out. If nothing else, I'll be more than happy to go over there and point you in the right direction as far as their music goes, because I do think they're really fucking awesome. But anyway, what am I trying for today, folks? What are we doing here? Super tasty lunch, eh? So yes, I just got through grabbing some lunch from a local spot, fairly new spot, called Royal Indian Cuisine in Elmhurst, Illinois. Now, I'd actually already done a review for one of their things, their butter chicken. I did that maybe a couple months ago. And this is my first time coming back around. So I went over there. I was actually hoping to go over there and get their weekend buffet, but I guess they've subsequently, since they had that available, I guess they canceled it, which was a little bit of a hit to take because I was really looking for some, delicious Indian buffet food in this instance. But I did go over there and get myself a lunch special and some, chicken biryani, which was fantastic. So, really tasty. But I knew I wanted to grab something on my way out to review. So, boom! What is this? This is, it's so warm. This is their goat curry. Which, come on now. You can't go wrong with curry, right? I mean, you can, but, hopefully that won't be the case here. And yeah, this was one of their menu items, and I was like, just feeling it. I was like, yeah, man, I'm down with that. So, let's get a thing for the thing here. We'll kind of do it like that, I think, yeah. We'll go, ha 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 ha! And let's try out some delicious curry. And I gotta say, oh, by the way, what with this being a review of a local spot, this review is going to end up on my Eating Out Illinois playlist, which is a playlist for just Illinois spots. I do gotta say, I love their food. I think it's great. Service needs a little improvement. I was actually supposed to get a drink with my lunch special, and I didn't get it until I'd literally walked out and came back and was like, hey. But everybody makes mistakes, so. All right, let's try some of the goat curry. Because at the end of the day, if the food is good, that's what matters most. Oh, that goat's super tender, man. That's so good that wants to be eaten. That's so fantastic. I love Indian food, but I'm like such a novice when it comes to it. I'm really happy that, now we do have a few new places in the area that serve Indian food, Royal Indian Cuisine being one of them. And it affords me that opportunity to expand my understanding, expand my palate. Because, man, Indian food is phenomenal. It's so fragrant and so tasty, and there's nothing else quite like it. That's super tasty. Get a little bit of the rice, just, rice. I believe this is jasmine rice, if I'm not mistaken. That's what it said on the thing, anyway. That's fantastic, too. Even without frying it in anything. The rice, nice and fluffy. And again, not overcooked at all. Perfectly cooked. And, again, similar to the goat, it just wants to fall apart in your mouth, but not in a bad way. It's not, mushy or anything. But it's just, it wants to be devoured. So the rice is really good. The goat is very good. Let's start mixing them together and doing what you're supposed to do with curry. Interesting fun fact about me. First time I ever heard about curry in any capacity that I was aware of was in the game Misadventures of Tron Bonne. And if you get that reference, you know what hell I went through when I was finding that out. It's a little mini game inside of a game. Boy, oh boy. Oh, it was maddening at the time. But such a great game, so let's get some of the sauce with some of the rice. Yeah. I mean, the rice just picks up that flavor. The sauce clings to it in such a wonderful way. And again, just the taste of the goat, super tender, nice and savory, and then it has a nice kick to it. It's not anything crazy spicy. Indian food has that reputation of being super duper spicy all the time. But it's important to remember, India is a giant place. And obviously its cuisine is gonna vary wildly, That's like saying, all food in America is just hamburgers. And it's well, I mean, we definitely like ourselves some hamburgers, but that is a gross oversimplification. And that's definitely the case with Indian cuisine as well, I feel. But that said, this does have a kick to it. It's not crazy spicy, but yeah, man, it gives you some heat at the back of your throat. That's some tasty stuff. And one thing that I personally have always struggled with a little bit when it comes to Indian food is that, and I think I get why they do it, is that when you get curries and stuff like that, they will often leave some of the meat on the bone. And I'm guessing that's for flavor, because you do get more flavor on the bone. But boy, oh boy, it does make things a little bit difficult. So just be aware, if you've never had Indian cuisine, that is a distinct possibility that you might run into. Because the first time I ever did it, I nearly swallowed a bone. Not from this place, though. It was years and years ago. Yeah, that goat is so savory. And the sauce is just fantastic. That is wonderful on every level. It is seasoned and spiced perfectly. Granted, to my admittedly uncultured palate in that regard. But for me, that is absolutely phenomenal. Now, oh, that's so good. I'll grab a napkin real quick. All that said, folks, 2 questions do have to be asked. Would I get it again? Would I recommend it? Absolutely and absolutely. Everything I had today from Royal Indian Cuisine was phenomenal. Chicken biryani was really good. The chicken samosas that I had were fucking to die for. Genuinely, I think probably the best samosas I've had. And then following, I knew having 2 chicken dishes for lunch, I didn't want to follow that up with more chicken, so I got the goat curry. And that's exceptional. Every element of that is it's just nailed down perfectly. The spices are really good. The spice level perfectly works for me. And then, just even the rice, like I said, perfectly cooked, works great with the rest of the dish. If I had any critique, it would just be that, maybe for me personally, just saying, maybe a little bit more of the sauce, would have been nice, just so I could, because I think when I did the butter chicken, if I recall correctly, I think they gave me 2 separate containers, one for the chicken and then one for the rice. That's kind of, I think, would probably work a little bit better, but it's a minor gripe. This is so good, folks. If you watch my channel, you already know it's coming. I'm calling that the business. Folks, when I refer to something as the business, that means it's pretty much perfect, you know? You could tweak it a little bit, you could do a little bit here or there. But, like, fundamentally, there's nothing I disliked about that. And everything was full of flavor. Everything was cooked perfectly. And as much as I was somewhat worried about coming from, you know, again, having a really nice lunch, being a little bit full, and then doing another review, that's so good, it just makes me want to devour it regardless of how full I already am. So I'm 100% down with it. And if I'm recommending it, I mean, again, you know, not an expert on Indian food, even in the slightest, but for me, that's just really tasty. You know, and that's kind of the beautiful thing about a curry and why probably so many cultures embrace curry is, like, fundamentally it's, you know, fairly simple. You know, just take typically a protein, some sauce, some rice, but it's about going over there and making sure that that's nailed down that makes it so wonderful. And in this case, everything about that hits. You know, it is a little bit spicy, so it might not be for everybody in that regard, but the spice level isn't crazy. It's not comical or anything. But the flavor is there and the cook is there. And that's something where I think that, you know, if you're somebody who, if that sounds enticing to you, absolutely go ahead and get it. I think you'll enjoy it. So, 5 things before I get out of here, though. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of the week, monumental rest of the month, stupendous rest of the year. Folks, go over there, have yourselves a truly Indian food-tastic rest of your life. Because, again, Indian food is just... Final 2 things. Number 1, try to bring some positivity into the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But... well, you can't do it all the time. I know I can't do it all the time. Here's what you're going to do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Now, folks, not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me. I know it. I live it. I'm out there every day with you in it. Life can be stressful and frustrating and just bullshit sometimes, folks. And when we find ourselves in situations where we have to deal with said bullshit, it's important we go over there whenever possible. Take a step back. Try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives. Hopefully, do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. And I did just want to mention here real quick, especially with, you know, this being, again, a local review and a review of a spot that's relatively new. You know, they just opened up, you know, in the past few months. You know, any critiques that I make or anything like that are coming from a place of admiration and love and just hopefully, you know, to grow and do better, you know, because that's just something we all have to do. But, like I said, I do think that the in-house experience, while the food was fantastic, service does needs to be improved just a little bit. You know, just, I didn't get offered water or anything. But again, I also take it in stride because at the end of the day, you know, everybody's allowed an off day. And at the end of the day, their food keeps kicking ass. So I do think they're a great spot. Just, you know, growing pains and little tweaks and things that can go over there and be improved upon. Anyway,